In essence, foreigners have a lot to offer to the local community, to the local governments. The foreigners are good for the local economy. The tourism is good for the local economies. In all of these things, the foreigners can be and are an asset to the foreign community. So hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. Governments banning expats during their retire early lifestyle, because that's who goes abroad, is people that want to live the retire early lifestyle. But even those that didn't do it too early, they also go abroad too. They're also good people. But what's happening is it's happening all over the place. You're hearing things like Panama. Of course, Panama has been shooting itself in the foot now for quite some time, just making things difficult for foreigners, but doing it while believing that they're not making it difficult. Because the thing that is not understood a lot of times is that foreigners don't have to go anywhere. They don't have to go anywhere in particular, and so if and when things get uncomfortable for them, they just pick up and leave. In Panama, they've been changing the rules. In Costa Rica, they've done the same thing. I'm getting reports that they're also removing, for one reason or another, the tax benefits for a lot of the foreigners that move there. And a lot of the foreigners move abroad. They do move abroad for tax benefits. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good move. People have been moving around for tax benefits for a long time. Even in the US, people go to states where there are no taxes. And the interesting thing about taxes is that you have places like South Dakota where the governor actually comes out and gives people all these figures about how great their economy is doing, and yet they don't have any income taxes there. So it's just another conversation, a different conversation. But just today we're talking about how a lot of these foreign governments that used to be foreign countries, that used to be places that gave a reason for people to go there, are now starting to act as if, well, we don't need you, kind of thing. And of course, a lot of the foreigners will be leaving. That's sad. But there's a lot of places to go, which incidentally, moving around to different countries has gotten a lot more complicated since 2020. The thing about foreigners is that I brought up taxes because that's just one of the things going on right now in a lot of these places, and in some of these places. I think that the thing that sometimes is forgotten by some of these countries is that the foreigners actually provide a lot of benefits to some of these smaller countries. For example, while a lot of people do go abroad, a lot of people go abroad for different reasons. And when you start removing some of these reasons, and you pretty much start removing reasons for people to come to your country. Here in Ecuador, when you're looking at places to go, and this was initially, you look at what each country has certain benefits to offer. And one of the things about Ecuador was the availability of natural and alternative healing, which is pretty amazing because we've always used natural and alternative health, and we've always practiced natural and alternative health. Even though we don't have professional degrees in the matter, we have spent pretty much our entire lives, pursuing and availing ourselves of natural health measures, as you know, on this channel. And that's one of the great things about Ecuador. And some people would like you to think that you have to go to a specific spot in Ecuador, but actually we have personally met Ecuadorians that were you have a lot of longevity going on in different parts of Ecuador. And what they have in common is that they've got fresh air, they've got great nature, they've got clean air, and in a lot of these places they've got clean water and fresh food. So, and peaceful, quiet living in nature. So that's abundant everywhere in Ecuador. So there isn't a particular specific spot you have to go to get that. And there's also a lot of organic farms here in Ecuador. So there's a lot of great reasons for somebody to be interested in Ecuador. So, pretty much all of Ecuador can be referred to as a great place for healing and alternative therapies and remedies. And a lot of these can be used for current health threats that are in the news and such. And there's a lot of diversity with the foreigners, with the expats coming in, that there's a lot of natural organic farming and knowledge of the land from the locals. And the foreigners mixed in with the locals provide a diversity of knowledge and abilities for being able to address the current health threats that are in the news. Speaking of which, as a lifelong naturalist and alternative healing practitioner, we recently ran into naturalist doctors that believe that this current health threat could actually be overcome within just a couple of weeks. Yes, this is amazing news. I'm just saying that the foreigners can provide the diversity of knowledge, coupled with the local abilities and knowledge of natural healing and the knowledge of the land, and they can work together symbiotically to overcome, the current threats. They don't have to be seen as a threat, to what's currently going on. They can be seen, and they do offer, they have a lot to offer to the local community, when it comes to the diversity of knowledge and expertise. And as I was saying, this particular naturalist doctor, he's disseminating information which I have access to, which we'd be happy to share and just encourage everyone and locals to adapt, because he's talking about naturalist methods that you don't necessarily hear about and that aren't being widely disseminated, but they could easily be much more widely disseminated by the expat community, in conjunction with the locals, so that people do not have to necessarily die from infections. They can, avoid death for a period of time. I mean, death is part of life. Even Jack LaLanne died of pulmonary infection, in his 90s. So, but the bottom line is that as expats, we can be an asset to the community, and we can actually encourage and share and disseminate information that would actually help both the locals and the foreigners to be able to avoid the worst case scenario with current health threats, and to make people's lives better, heal quicker. And as this particular naturalist doctor was saying, with the proper dissemination of the proper information, people could stop living in fear, and they could actually, this place could become, and any place could become, a very, health-focused kind of a place. So I just wanted to share that with you. There's a lot of positives. If you take a look at exactly what the expats really do have to offer, even though not everything is necessarily positive with foreigners. I mean, there's a certain element of foreigners where they just raise prices on everything, and of course the recipients of higher prices are happy, but there are other people that aren't recipients, and they're not too happy. So, and with that in mind, even so, we do offer assistance to foreigners. We have a membership area where we can be supportive and make them more comfortable with just being more adept at doing things so as to not cause friction with pricing and anything else. So no matter how you look at it, whether we're talking about the current conflict in health matters, the current health crisis, or whether we're talking about assimilation of the expats, many expats, and such as even ourselves, have a lot of benefits to offer, in an educational manner. So we have a lot to offer as a group, even though not everything in this is necessarily positive. Even the areas that aren't positive, and there may be some friction, even then we can do better, and we are willing to share our knowledge and our ability to make things better for both the locals and the foreigners, so that everyone can live in harmony, especially in harmony and in good health. So in essence, foreigners have a lot to offer to the local community, to the local governments. The foreigners are good for the local economy. The tourism is good for the local economy. So in all of these things, the foreigners can be and are, in many cases and in most cases, an asset to the foreign community. So sometimes governments come up with, for one reason or another, they come up with kind of out of a hat, they pull out these changes, and then they end up shooting themselves in the foot. And it doesn't need to be that way if there's an open dialogue and an open communication going on. And that's what this channel is partly about, is having an open dialogue and an open communication with both the community, the local community, the expat community as a whole. And so with that, if you have any suggestions or any comments, please make some comments, and thanks for coming to the channel, and have a wonderful day.